Hello strangers, look, I'm back on the bike. Yes, watching you crazy cats now. Welcome to Dazzle Rebel Rides. Now this is my first ride since being locked down. I'm still furloughed at the minute, but they have started to restrict, to lift the travel restrictions here in the UK. So I thought I'd take that opportunity. I've got some things I need to pick up from someone, things that I ordered from Foreman's Bar in Nottingham. Quick plug there for when they open again. Some merchandise. I'm just going to pick some t-shirts and apparel and stuff up, and then maybe go out for a ride. One thing I think I do need to get is some fuel because it's looking a little low. Sort out this jiggly Zumo. I'll tell you what is, weather-wise, we've had quite a decent May here in the UK, so it's been even more heartbreaking the fact that we've not been allowed to go out on the bikes. You know, if I hadn't been furloughed, then I'd have at least been able to ride the bike to and from work each day. But, you know, being furloughed from work, that's not been possible. You know, I've had no excuse to be out on the bike, so I shouldn't be out. But now, the restrictions are starting to lift. Some sectors are starting to go back to work. Unfortunately, the retail sector, which, although I work in a garage, I am part of because I'm in sales, well, move it up again. Yeah, that will be likely to be 1st of June at the earliest, so fingers crossed, because I have been enjoying, look, I have to admit, you know, I have actually been enjoying being locked down. It's given me a really good opportunity to get on with things that I've not had chance to, mainly music. For those who don't know, the name Dazzle Rebel came about because I used to be in a band called Red Star Rebels, and essentially that's where the rebel part comes from, and Dazzle comes from my real name Darren, which was shortened to Daz and then extended again to Dazzle. You know, as people do over time, you know, your mates start calling you different things, start having different nicknames for you, so I became known as Dazzle Rebel, and that is why you're watching Dazzle Rebel Rides. So yeah, anyway, I used to be in a band, used to do lots of music, used to be very creative. I used to spend all my time, you know, all my spare time doing music. For the last decade though, I've not done a lot, and a lot of the reason for that, if I'm honest, is simply because I burnt myself out when it comes to music. I got absolutely disenfranchised with the whole music scene and the whole music industry, if I'm totally honest with you. You know, we put our hearts and souls into it, and it just never worked out. You know, it was picked up and elevated to a certain height and then dropped like a lead balloon. That's how horrible the industry can be, how cutthroat it can be. And I'll be honest, it did give me a big punch in the gut, and I've got to sort that out when I stop. And it did kill my enthusiasm. So I have to admit, I've neglected my creative side as far as music goes for so long. You know, you know what happens is, you know, you get older, you've got bills to pay, you get a full-time job, you get another hobby, motorcycling, making videos, and because it's new and novel, that sort of takes over. Your other hobbies miss out, and for me, that was music. And well, until about a decade ago, about 2011, until about then, it wasn't just a hobby, it was my life. You know, music was, and making music especially, is what I lived and breathed. You know, I always wanted to make music my main work, my main job, but it just wasn't to be. You know, I suppose there are things I could have done differently if I was that adamant that I was going to make money doing music. But for me, it was always about creating, you know. It wasn't about necessarily playing live. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't, you know, it gave you a buzz, but it wasn't the be all and end all for me. What really gives me a buzz when it comes to music is actually making music, songwriting. You know, that is the thing that really attracted me to making music and wanting to make it as a rock star. I mean, sure, I could have gone and played in a covers band if I enjoyed, you know, if my main reason for enjoying music was playing live. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Loads of people do it, and fantastic. If that's your bag, that's your bag, you know. For me, it was always the songwriting that was the first and foremost. Creating new things. And, you know, the performance sort of came second, really. And I suppose, yes, I could have been a songwriter. You know, I could have got into songwriting for people. You know, I could have got into that sort of game, but you know, if I'm absolutely honest with you, by the time I gave up in 2011, I'd had enough of the whole industry. You know, I needed a break from it. I expected it to maybe take a sabbatical for 1, maybe 2 years. I didn't expect it to last 9 years and take a global pandemic for me to get back into it. But I have got back into it, and I tell you what, I realise what I've been missing all these years. You know, I've thrown my heart and soul back into it, and I'm really enjoying being musically creative again. It's absolutely changed my world. It's changed my world, almost the way it did when I first discovered the joy of making music. So I thought, you know, stop beating around the bush. It don't matter if things are a little bit rough around the edges. You don't need it to be, you know, Abbey Road quality. Just get your music out there. So that's what I did. I sat in my attic studio using Cubase 4, of all things, because that's, you know, the most up-to-date technology I've got. And I've been writing tunes, recording, and I now have a single out on Spotify and iTunes, and soon it will be on Amazon Music too.
I should have thicker skin, take it with a 9 gram, but I can't take anymore. I guess I've got a lot of proof. I need to get some fortitude. I took a wandering, riding around at night, not bothering anyone.
How you doing? It's beautiful, isn't it? It's absolutely stunning. Yeah, not too bad. How are you getting on?
Cool.
So, nice one. Cheers out.
See you, mate.
Yeah, take care, mate. Stay safe. Right, so that's job number 1 done. In fact, that's the only job of the day. So, go for a little ride. Oh, I'll tell you what, it feels good to be back out on the bike though. You know, when all's said and done, you know, I really enjoy motorcycling. You know, it's not just my job, you know, working in a motorcycle dealer. It was a hobby first and foremost. I think it's all these country parts. I'm looking up here, you know, where can we go? But the trouble is they'll all be shut because we are still in lockdown. Although they've allowed travel restrictions to be lifted and a lot of the social distancing things to be relaxed slightly. You know, when it comes to motorcycling, you can go out now for leisure, but you just can't. You can't really stop anywhere. You can't go and meet up with people. And if you do stop, you know, it's got to be somewhere very quiet where you're not going to bump into other people. You know, before anybody gets a bit frazzled in the comments about saying, oh, you shouldn't be out yet, you still got lockdown. Well, yeah, technically we've still got lockdown. I am still furloughed. But we are now allowed to go out and drive for as long as we want. We can go out as long as we keep to social distancing regulations, and that's what I intend to do. So stop being so pedantic, and if you don't understand or you're too scared of going out into the wide world, then that is your prerogative. It's up to you. I'm taking my own risk into my own hands. I've been locked up at home for 6 weeks and I've not seen anybody, so basically I've missed that. Oh, I have missed that. Go, you fat. Oh dear, it smelled like burning woodland, that did. Possibly because of all these people that dump it, you know. Oh, you can smell they've been spreading the muck on the fields. Oh, the fresh smell of the country. Ooh-ar. So I suppose I could tell you about my my debut solo single. My debut solo single. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. So I wrote this last year. I was going through a little bit of a dark time. I didn't really tell anybody about it, but you know, I was suffering in bouts, and I found that the song wrote itself in the space of about half hour, 40 minutes. I was just playing around with an acoustic, because when I get in sort of these moods and these the vibes take over, I find that music and creating music and just getting an acoustic out and just playing can be quite cathartic. And the song just came. It just came absolutely naturally, all by itself. You know, I forget who said it. Was it I think it was Roger Daltrey or Pete Townsend from The Who? They said that nothing's original, and you know what they do with their music is they're not creating it themselves. They're just discovering it because it's out there to be discovered. And sometimes I feel that sort of you know, that really hits the nail on the head when it comes to creating songs. You know, when it just clicks, you feel that it's been discovered. You know, you found that you've discovered it rather than you created it out of nothing. Because you know, the notes are there. The notes are there to be discovered. Roads around here were awful. And when a song comes and I discover upon a certain chord progression or a certain melody, even certain lyrics, even though sometimes they're quite personal to me, they're still there, they're still words, they're still in our vocabulary, and I do feel like I've discovered it rather than I've created it. So I like that analogy. So anyway, that's off on a tangent. So I mean, the single that I did, Fortitude, which you can now get on Spotify and iTunes, and will be on Amazon Music very soon. was created in a moment of darkness, and by the time I'd finished it, that darkness had passed, you know, because that was my way of getting myself through those bad feelings, you know, those dark feelings, is just making music. And it's always been the case since I picked up guitar when I was 11 years old. You know, I found that playing music, it helps release inner demons, and especially writing songs and putting lyrics down on paper. That can be, even though nobody else might hear it, the fact that you've done it can be a massive release. And I suppose that's why I've got such a bloody big back catalogue of songs that nobody else has ever heard. Now, I'm not going to analyse the song or analyse the lyrics. I'll leave that for you, because even though I wrote it with a particular theme in mind, particular idea in mind, I like the idea that songs can be ambiguous, and even though the lyrics say one thing, it can mean something completely different to somebody else, because it all depends on who you are and what you are when you first hear it. And I love that about music. I absolutely love the fact that although one person wrote that with a certain feeling, a certain vibe, a certain, you know, thing that was in their mind, someone else will hear it and it means something completely different to them. I suppose that's why so many people have their first dance at wedding songs being love songs about breaking up. How's that? So another thing I've been doing since being locked down is I do admit I've taken my foot off the gas as far as social media on Dazzle Rebel Rides goes, basically because I've not got much content to put out there, because I've not been out on the bike. But I have done some online chats with people. I mean, I have to say thank you very much for the people who invite me to do it. It's been great seeing people's faces and reacting in real time. You know, Dad and Mad, you guys, I love that interview. That was wicked, absolutely awesome. If you haven't seen it, folks, I'll put a link to it down in the description somewhere. And also had a chat with Undead Viking Zombie 2, and that was good, talking about indie motorcycles. I also think I think it's this Sunday I'm due to be having a Zoom chat with Aussie and the Indian as well, so that'll be fun. If this comes out before that does, keep your eyes open or eyes peeled for that. What should we do now? Well, I think for now I've not got a lot else to talk about really. Hopefully there'll be a lot more content coming now we're allowed out on the bikes. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we shall see. Wait for these cars to go past. So yeah, we'll see, shall we? Won't we? Let me just unplug that. I think the main thing really though is it's great to be back on the bike. It's great seeing you guys again, and please feel free to leave some comments down in the description. I'm going to play you out now with just me riding and my song Fortitude in the background. Don't forget, you can see it, you can listen yourself, add it to your favourites, add it to some playlists on Spotify. It's available on iTunes for Apple Music, also available on iTunes to download for 79p as well. I don't see a lot of that, so I'm not bothered if you do that or not personally. I'm more happy for you to stream it on Spotify. That'd be awesome. Add it to some of your playlists. That would be awesome. And it will be on Amazon Music very soon. I don't know why they're taking longer than Apple and Spotify, but they are for some reason. I'll have to remember that in future when releasing music. Anyway, I'm going to take some photos of the bike, and then I'm going to go for a ride, and I'll see you next time. Remember, if you like to ride, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you next time. Bye.
like who I am. I don't like anyone. I should have thicker skin, take it with a 9 gram, but I can't take anymore. I guess I've got a lot of proof. I need to get some fortitude. I took a wandering, riding around at night, not bothering anyone. I found an inner voice. It told me I had a choice to choose who I wanna become. I got nothing left